In this video, we're going to talk about the different automated alert types and lead engagement options, and we'll show you a few as well. So let's walk through our guide, and then we'll show some samples. All right, in Lofty, each of the contacts that we have can receive up to 4 alerts, and we call those lead engagement. And so what I mean by that, we're just here in this record for Terry, and we're talking right here with engagement. So again, if we just go across the top from activities to engagement in the middle, we click on engagement, and we can do property alerts, market snapshots, market reports, or home reports. That's what we're talking about. So let's go through here our tips. Number one tip for simplicity, the default is to send everyone a generic market report. So the default is going to be to send everybody one of these market reports. And if you forget everything else and it gets weird, you're just going to send them out a market report. Okay, that's the bottom line. But now let's go through the details of learning what each are. So the other tip, to see samples of each alert, you can open up any contact and click on engagement, and then click the introduction button to the right of lead engagement. So this is kind of neat. Up here, we've clicked on engagement for Terry. Up here, again, we were in activities as the default. We click on engagement. That opens up this thing called lead engagement. And then to the right of it is this blue button that says introduction. If you click on that, it'll show you samples of each of these 3 items here. So it'll show you a sample property alert. So here's a property alert sample, just so you get an idea of what's going to be sent out to people. All right, so that's pretty cool, and you can just go all the way through and see what it is. You can also then do a sample market snapshot, and you can read down through what that looks like, and then you can do a sample market report and take a peek about what that looks like as well. All right, I just want you to know those samples are there. That's really neat for a quick reference. If you're like, what does this look like? What does a property alert look like? Market snapshot or market report? Just click that introduction. All right, so that's a tip. Next tip is, hey, enter yourself as a contact and then send each of the alerts to yourself to see how it looks. I'm going to actually show you some that I sent to myself here in a minute. All right, let's now go through the different types. First is a property alert. This is for active buyers, although we can modify it and use it for other purposes, as you'll see. But typically, you're using a property alert for a buyer you're working with who is active, and you're going to set up new listing home search criteria for them. And then Lofty is going to search the MLS and send out periodic reports based on whatever frequency you set up for them with the latest listings. Inside Lofty, we're talking about this section right here. And here's an example of an email that was sent out to me for a property alert. Notice it talks about a status change. There's one home for, and then my name is in there. It was autofill. And then the address of the property that we've got some interest in. And so we'll take a look at this email. It says, hey, Mike, and it's, by the way, it has a picture of you. It's coming from you, which is kind of nice. It says, hi, Mike, here's a new property matching your search. If you want to learn more about this property, feel free to call me at this phone number, and I can be reached at this email address. And then you can also view all listings, all new listings, by clicking this button. But here is a property address for them. They got a picture, they've got a price, they've got an address, some details, all kinds of information. And then they can view more details by clicking this button or schedule a tour. And they can also view all the listings, and then your email signature wraps it up. So pretty nice. And it'll show, depending on what this search is, 1 to, I think I have one with 15 properties. So it can show a lot. So that's what a property alert is. We're not going to set that up right now. I first want to show you what each of these is. All right, next, there's 4 of them. The next one is called a market snapshot. This is pretty interesting. This is for homeowners that you're trying to stay in touch with. Lofty will search your MLS and send out a periodic report of recently sold and pending properties in a narrow area. So what we're talking about here is this item right here inside of Lofty. And then let me show you an example. Okay, here's an example of a market snapshot that was sent out to me that I can show you. And it just says up here at the top, hey, Mike, there are 2 properties in the area that were just sold. So that's going to get some people's interest to open it up. And then we'll go ahead and read what it says inside. It says, hey, hi, Mike. Two properties in your area have been sold recently. If you want to know more about the market trend or the current value of your property, feel free to call me, or I can be reached at this email address. Then it gives a couple quick market data points, which is nice. For the last 30 days, there were 20 sold listings and an average price of 888, which is up 200K. There were 63 days on the market, which is also up 17 days from before. And then you could click this to learn more information inside of your website. Okay, they'll basically see the report inside your website. And then the sold listings, it's going to show some samples. So they got a sold listing here, the price, a couple of the details, beds and baths, and the address. They can view more information there. And then they got a second property address with a price and information as well. And then they go all the way down and you can see your signature down below. That is a market snapshot. Okay, next let's talk about a market report. The market report, this is for everyone. This is the one we're going to recommend as your default. You can pick an area, a city, a zip code. REALTY will send statistical report with lots of graphs and showing trends. And for best results, when you do this, again, you could pick a city or a zip. And what we found is the zip will be better because it's usually wider, especially if you're in a rural area. And it's going to pull up a lot more data and stats for people. So what we're talking about there is right here, market reports. This is where we're going to set that up when we decide to do it. Let me show you an example. Okay, here is a market report that I emailed out to myself on a zip code. And it says the zip code. And if you put in the city name, it would have put the city there, but it was a zip code report. So it said, hey, here is that zip code real estate market report for a certain date. So it says, hi, Mike, I'm emailing you this month's market report for your area. It provides an update on the trends in home prices, market time, and number of homes that are on the market. Please let me know if there are any questions I can answer. I'm always happy to assist. And then it gives the report itself. Now, by the way, this report is pulled up. My understanding, it gets pulled up once a month in your area on the 5th of the month. It's going to be pulled up and sent out on the 5th of the month, unless you tell it to go out on a different day by forcing a send out. But that's when it's going to go out, just so you know. In this report, it's going to show that it's the zip code. It's going to show active listings, pending listings, and the median price in that zip code. They can click on this to see properties for sale or find out what their home is worth. Pretty cool. They're going to go back to your website. They click any of these buttons, and you're going to be notified if they do, by the way, which is pretty cool. Median sales price in the area, and it gives a little bit of information and some timeline. And then home values in the area, the dollar per square footage, and the timeline. Median sell to list ratio talks about it, how it dipped there for a little while, but now it's back where it's at. So you can see a lot of trending. And then closed deals have decreased by 18% from last year. That's interesting. So it's showing everything as far as a listed property and a sold property on a graph. It's a lot of graphs, right? A lot of data. Properties are selling 3 days slower than last year. And then your signature and your sign out. So this is a nice, simple, generic report that can go out to people. And this is our default report that we would send, called a market report. Finally, we have a home report. This is for homeowners. An AI, artificial intelligence, is going to prep a mini CMA and send it out to the homeowners. The limit on this still, though, is just 5 reports that you get for free. And then you got to pay an additional cost beyond that. And due to that fact, and the risk of sending an estimate that's either too high or too low, we're actually not going to do this home report. But I just wanted to show you what it is and where it's at, and you're probably curious when you see it. This is the home report. If you decided to do one, that's where it would be. But again, because of the cost, and I'm just doing everything that's free inside the system. Let me show you what the report looks like in the email. You're going to get this email that says, hey, your home valuation report. And then it gives them, hey, how you doing, to their name. Please see below for your free home valuation. Note that this is just an estimate. For a free personalized quote on your home's value, feel free to contact us. It gives an estimate of the value. It shows a high and a low. And also shows the price change in the last 30 days. It shows their address. It says, hey, you can view this report inside of the website, and then your signature. Again, if they click that, they have some interest, and that's going to notify you, which is cool. This data, though, it appears to be off a little bit, and that's another reason that you may not decide to use this valuation. Check it out in your area and see if it's accurate before you use it. Send one for yourself, for your own home. This was not my home, but I know this area and I know what these values are, so you can do that. Okay, so let's take a look at this final note here on home reports or home valuations. You may elect to use a different service to send a home valuation. For example, if you're in Metro Denver, where I'm at, there's a thing called eProperty Watch that's offered inside of our MLS, RE Colorado. It's offered as a free service. And you might want to check your MLS to see. Now, the reason I'm mentioning that one is I've sent it to myself, and it's actually pretty accurate. So again, you want to send yourself one and make sure you're getting a pretty accurate number before you send something like this out to people. There are also other outside services that can be used, such as HomeBot, which is a paid service. They will all require the contact to opt in to receive the full report. That's another challenge with this, is you actually can't automate it at the beginning. You have to send it, once a month until they accept it. They never accept, you're constantly sending it once a month. So that's the other downside to this home report. Therefore, it becomes a monthly manual task, and most agents are not going to do it after a while. So that's the reason that we default to this market report. But I wanted you to know what home reports were, and now you do. So the best practice is to send everyone in your PCSOI a monthly market report based on zip code. That's both homeowners and renters. You're going to send homeowners an immediate new listing notification only for a 1 block radius drawn on a map, which we're going to show you later. So here's another tip. You can review or change any of the alert email text, the message itself, by going here, settings, templates, and email equals automated emails. Let me show you what that looks like inside of Lofty. So inside of Lofty, we're going to go to settings, then we're going to go to templates, and we're going to go to emails. And then up here under templates, we've got email templates and then automated emails. And here are the messages for welcome email, which I don't recommend you do. Here's property alert, market snapshot, market report. And then if you do double opt-in, that would be there. So let's say you got property alert, you want to see what it says, just go ahead. Here we've got single properties and multiple properties. If you want to do single property, go look at the edit button and click it open. And here's the message, says, here's a new property matching your search. If you want to learn more about any properties, feel free to call me at the phone and the email. All right, so that already looks pretty good, but maybe you want to change it. You can change it. You can change what's in the subject line. You can change what's down here. And if you change it and you decide you don't like it, you can always click this button down here to reset the default, which is pretty cool. All right, so that was for the property alerts. Let's look at market reports, since we're going to do a lot of those. We'll click over here, and here it is. I'm emailing this month's market report to the area, and all the way down. I'm always happy to assist. This one doesn't have our contact information, so you may want to reach in here and say, well, let me say this. In my email signature, I have all my contact information, so you may want to leave it alone. Or you may want to enter your contact information in this form. So right here, for instance, you could say, call me at, and we could go into variables, agent variables, and agent phone. Now we'll go ahead and add your phone number. Now this is thinking if you have a phone number you're going to change system-wide, you're thinking, why would I ever do that? Well, what if you change companies, you change phone lines, you go from one cell carrier to another cell carrier, and you can't bring your number with you? I don't know, you'd be able to just change your agent phone number once in the system, and it would auto-populate through all of your emails, rather than you hard-coding your number in at this time. That would be an example. So call me at this phone number, or email me at And let's drop that variable in. Variable, agent variable, and agent email. Oh, so we just updated the send out to include our phone and email, and we'll click save, and there it is. So there would be an example of how you could change the text if you chose to. Let's say I thought about all that. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. I don't like that at all. I'm going to go back to the original. Good. Just go down here to reset. By the way, see how it was saved? It was saved in there. And you say, no, I want to reset it. So just click the reset. Are you sure you want to reset the email content? Say yes, and boom, it goes all the way back to what it was before, and it gets rid of the addition that you made of the phone number and the email. Pretty cool? All right, so now you understand all of the automated alert types and lead engagement options.